The fire hydrant. Ubiquitous and unremarkable, these cast iron guardians blend into the background of the modern urban landscape until they're needed. But who invented them, and why? What's the whole story? Hi, I'm Nigel Fitzgerald Brouwer, and to really understand the origins of the fire hydrant, it's important to talk about the Dark Ages, and the 12th century in particular. In this time, the life of a peasant was nasty and short. If they weren't dying of malnutrition or dysentery, they were in constant danger of having their crops and flat-screen plasma televisions destroyed by rampaging dragons. As an early warning system, a brave man from each village would be posted in the fields and yell out, "Fire-breathing dragon coming." From past experience, I hypothesized that it would be dangerous. I believe it would be in our best interest to hide the children when he saw a dragon coming. Dragons are quite fast, so eventually this was shortened to simply fire hide, and these lookouts became known as the fire hide man. Since a fire hide man was always close by when a dragon set a building on fire, they started being equipped with buckets of water so they could start fighting fires immediately. Many hundreds of years passed, and while large fire-breathing dragons eventually began to die out due to a drop in the availability of princesses and careless people throwing away six-pack rings, the noble profession of firehide lived on. As dragon fires became less common, the firehide men repurposed their water buckets and trademarked warning to deal with fires of a more mundane variety. But even without enormous man-eating lizards, the job of firefighting was dangerous. So, to improve work conditions and decrease flammability, the first Union of Firehides and Television Repair People was formed. Since television would not be invented for another 400 years, the television repair part of the name was later dropped. By the mid-18th century, the Firehide Union was one of the strongest in the world. So strong, in fact, that they began to impose tariffs in the name of fire safety. They first began taxing fire-making tools, such as kindling and matches, but quickly moved on to levying a tax on anything even associated with fire, such as marshmallows and Christmas stockings. Anyone caught lighting a fire in an unlicensed fireplace or making sparks without a permit was severely fined, and rubbing two sticks together was outlawed. It was a dark time, and not just because candles were contraband and the light bulb wouldn't be invented for another 100 years. In 1861, a man named Birdsill Hawley lost his son in what he was told was an unlicensed fire, and vowed that he would create a mechanical firehide and end the Union's monopoly on standing around with buckets of water once and for all. Hawley first built a large brass device with several nozzles to connect to hoses that he dubbed the Fire Hydra, since it had multiple heads. While this prototype device had many of the same features as the modern fire hydrant, it was over 23 feet long, weighed 18 tons, and cost almost $8,000 to produce, which in today's money is over $3 trillion. Hawley was determined though, and over many years he finally miniaturized the device and released the Fire Hydra NT, NT standing for New Technology, as it was made with cast iron, which had been invented the previous year. Due to misplaced space in the first ads, people began calling them fire hydrants, and the name stuck. As you might imagine, the firehides did not like this new development, and went out of their way to smash them whenever possible. But they were fighting a losing battle. The fire hydrants were cheap, efficient, ate half as much, and didn't talk back. Eventually, the Firehide Union embraced change and turned into what we now know as the Fire Department, joining forces with the once enemy to protect us all from fires and arboreal cats. So there you have it. From the Dark Ages to the very poorly lit ages, the history of the humble fire hydrant is one of unions, dragons, taxes, and marshmallows. So the next time you think you know all about something, just remember, you may not know the whole story.